I think I can adjust it. Like I could do split screen or like full screen. But
Whichever works.
all right, sounds good. But yeah, tonight's Saturday night or not Stories on Sunset. I have so many live stream shows, and for Stories on Sunset, what I do is I interview musicians and or just share my own personal stories of how we met or my experiences as a concert journalist in Los Angeles. And I'm trying to raise funds.
Let me turn this mic off here.
Okay.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
There we go.
So I'm trying to raise funds for the local venues and the small businesses like the Rainbow and the Viper Room and the Roxy and so forth because of COVID, and trying to help them out with their GoFundmes and such. So that's what Stories on Sunset's all about, is to help them out.
Good. I'm glad then I didn't give you my Cash App info. That way you just put all the money towards those guys.
Absolutely. And I'm so honored to have Jonny from Warner Drive and Bullets and Octane as my guest tonight, as my special guest.
Glad to be here. It's
awesome.
nice to see your face. It's been a while.
Yeah, we haven't seen each other since the Marquise Theater in Denver.
Oh, man, that must have been, easily 5 years ago.
Easily, yeah. It was good times. That's where I got to interview you guys in the van and everything. And
oh, yeah.
And you tried to grab my camera that night, I remember, and you tried to flip the questions on me. I was like, oh, man, this is some good times. But my camera died. I'm like, oh, man, that would have been like some good times right there.
Oh, yeah. I must have been drunk because I don't remember.
Indeed.
Those Denver shows, man, that elevation will get you every time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But I my very first time seeing you guys was at the Viper Room. And I believe Super Black Market, which is like Sonny's band, he's in your band, is Warner Drive.
Yeah.
And it was the very first time, the very first concert I covered as a professional journalist was.
Do you remember which what the date was on that, or what year that was?
It had to be like 2012, 2013.
Okay.
Around that time, because that's like my LA years was around that time as a journalist out there. And it was like I was chilling out and like hanging out, like being the roadie for like Super Black Market and covering their show too and help carrying their stuff out before you guys went on. And what brought me back into the venue is when you guys covered Roxette's The Look.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that like reeled me back in. I'm like, what the heck's going on in here? And like I hear like John and everyone's going all crazy on you and on the drums and everything. And
turned out to be a fan favorite, that one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You guys and like OK Go was like so was stuck in my CD player for the longest time because I love that album. Like I just couldn't pull it out of my car stereo. I took that CD everywhere.
I can't believe that record's well, we recorded it 10 years ago and it came out in February of 2011. Man, wow. I can't believe it's been that long already. I remember that CD release show. It was February of 2000. I want to say it was February 25th of 2011. And it was a real nerve-wracking day because, it never rains in Los Angeles. And it rained in LA the day of the release of KGO. And we were like, man, the CD release show, it's raining. Nobody goes out in LA. We sold the place out beyond capacity on a rainy night in Los Angeles. And man, that's one of those nights through all the gigs that I've played in my life, through the Knives and Warner Drive and Bullets and Octane. And that's one of those shows that just sticks in your mind. And it was the very last show that Albert played with us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The very last show.
That's pretty wild. You've had Warner Drive's been through some lineup changes and stuff, and I know Elvis is no longer part of them, and
Elvis isn't with us anymore. And even before this lineup, like even before I was in the band and Candace was in the band and Ryan and everybody, there was the original lineup, which had Matt and it had Chris and it had God, how am I forgetting his name? He was a really cool member of the band, bass player. God, it's dawning. God, I can't remember. Anyway, those guys were around forever. Like I would see them live before I was in the band. It's crazy. Somebody sent me a picture. It's from backstage at the Roxy, and it's this old Roxy calendar from October of 2007, and it was Warner Drive with or Bullets and Octane with special guest Warner Drive and the Knives, and I was in the Knives at the time. But I think it's amazing because I look at that show and I've played in all three of those bands now, so I thought that was pretty neat. Those days of Warner Drive were crazy, and in the original lineup, man, it was amazing. Those guys set the path for us later, because those guys, they did so much work that they were already selling out all the venues when I joined the band. When I joined the band, I was joining the most popular band in Los Angeles that didn't have a record deal at the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the last time I checked, you guys had record deals, which is pretty neat.
Yeah.
And
we've had a couple since I've been in the band.
Indeed. One time was with Fat Mike from NoFX, I believe.
It was El Jefe from NoFX. It was his label. Yeah. Okay. Fat Mike has Fat Records, and El Jefe has Cybertracks. And that was the label we were on. And then we went on and we signed with Dead End Exit, which was a Swedish label under the umbrella of Roasting House, which is a real big thing over there in Sweden.
Yeah, I've checked out your Spotify, and that's where like a lot of your listens have come from, like Sweden and Germany and stuff. And you were pretty big out there, and you guys toured. What were like the tour stories like out there? Man,
like it's amazing. There was a time from 2009 to 2012 where Warner Drive was doing 200 to 250 shows a year in America.
Wow.
And in 2012, we decided, hey, let's take this over to Europe. And we had an opportunity. It's funny, he's my business partner now. His name's Martin. But I had met Martin in 2006 when I was on tour with the Knives, and we were opening up for CKY, and we played in Stockholm. And Martin was he ran the CKY fan club of Sweden. So we stayed in touch over the years. He became a fan of Warner Drive. And one day he hits me up and he says, hey, man, if you guys ever want to come over to Sweden or Europe, I can help you guys with some shows. Well, about a week after that, we were friends with this band called Vaden from Phoenix. And they got us onto this really big festival in Germany called Dithmarscher Rock Festival. It took place in Dithmarschen, which is like the northwest corner of Germany. And I got that offer, and it was just like, wow, well, Martin just offered me shows in Sweden and stuff. So let's do this. And we did a Kickstarter campaign, and we raised all this money. And from that point on, we had a lot of luck and success over there in Sweden. We've played Malmo Festival a few times. We've played Sweden Rock Festival, Helgeia Festivalen. We did that first year in Sweden, and then we played it every year for the next 9 years except for 1 year. We were supposed to be there this weekend. This weekend we were supposed to be playing Helgeia Festivalen, but because of this COVID-19, everything kind of got screwed up. So we're going to do it next year.
I hope so. They love you out there. I see like the pictures and like there and the videos. You have like a fan that comes out and photographs you all out there. I see all the time when you get tagged.
Yeah. Him and his dad, dude. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Those guys are great. And I see them when I go on tour with Bullets and Octane. I see those guys too. So it's been I've been really lucky. I've been blessed, and not many people get to do what we got to do in Warner Drive and what I get to do in Bullets and Octane. And we also have a new band. The guys, me and two of the dudes in Bullets and Octane, Felipe and Zach, we have a band called the Mercury Riots that we're getting ready to unleash to the world this fall. So we just recorded an album, and we're really excited about that too.
Well, definitely looking forward to that for sure. Yeah, I love both sounds of Bullets and Octane and Warner Drive. So looking forward to your new project sound.
Great.
So awesome.
Thanks. Yeah, it's going to be, you'll like it. I think you'll like it.
Indeed. I love watching like Candace's tour journals, like her video diaries from Europe. Those are some good times.
Candace, the sister I never had.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I walked around NAMM and I got to see her on the Ibanez, like on their
Their
set
big
up.
cardboard cutout of canvas. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. Yeah.
And while I was there, I picked up this lanyard, Vic Firth lanyard, and I know that you're sponsored by Vic Firth and Pace Cymbals and also 101 Drums. Like, how did that all come about?
101 Drums, man. Well, let me just say that Vic Firth and Paiste, I couldn't say enough great things about them as companies. The first drumstick I ever owned when I was 11, and the first cymbal I ever owned when I was 11 was Vic Firth and Paiste, respectively. And it's funny, man. Okay, so here's how I got my Vic Firth deal. The Knives had just signed our first record deal. This was in 2004. We had just signed with Criterion Records, and it was an indie deal, but it had really good worldwide distribution, and we were really stoked. My weed dealer, the guy I used to buy pot from, he was a drummer in a band called Puya, P-U-Y-A. They were a metal band from the early 2000s. They were on Ozfest and stuff. And I was telling him, I'm like, man, I need a stick endorsement. So he totally emailed Vic Firth, Marco Saccoli over at Vic Firth, and said, man, you should hook these guys up. They got a huge buzz about them. They're about to head out on tour. They're going out on Warped Tour, and then they're going out with CKY and all this stuff. And so we sent an email to them. So then a couple of weeks go by, and I get a rejection letter in the mail that says, sorry, this, that, the other thing. I was so bummed. The very next day, I get this phone call from this New Yorker guy, Marco. He's like, yo, this is Marco Saccoli from Vic Firth. I want to welcome you to the family. I go, that's crazy. I just got a rejection letter yesterday. He goes, what? Somebody fucked up. Somebody fucked up. No, you're part of the family. And now I've been with them 16 years this year. And it's amazing. It's like a dream come true, you know. And then Paiste, that was just a series of events. I played in this Tom Petty tribute band with this guy Anton and his brother Alan. They're in a band called Orange Blossom Special. And it turned out their drummer was the artist rep for Paiste. And I was at NAMM, and I had just met him, and I went up to the Paiste booth, and I didn't realize that he worked there. I had just met this dude. And then I went up to him. I'm like, oh, dude, what's going up? And he's like, yeah, man, I love Warner Drive. Let me hook you up. Send me a package. And that was it. And within a couple of days, I was with Paiste, and that was a dream come true. And then 101 Drums, they're a Swedish company. And I every time I'd be over there playing a festival, they'd be like, hey, man, try out our snare drum tonight. And I would try it out. And I was like, man, these are great. And then one day they're like, hey, do you want to be part of the family? And I was like, I'd love to. So they made me a Jonny Use custom snare drum, and it's pretty awesome.
Wow, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Now I'm glad you corrected me on Paiste, because like some folks mispronounced my name, and now I know how the correct pronunciation of.
Well, okay, so am I mispronouncing your name?
Saret.
Yep. So I was saying Sareth. So there, yeah, Saret.
Indeed, kind of like I always tell people, it's like kind of like Shrek, you know. So it's
Totally. That's great. What took you to Florida anyway?
Oh, I wanted to pursue stand-up comedy.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and
why Florida?
Because I was helping out my parents out here, like house sitting, because they're currently in Colorado at the moment, which is like, thank goodness, because like it's much safer there, and like all these bikes here is just nuts.
Yeah.
But so I'm house sitting here, and I just wanted to go do a show like once a month for like 4 years straight without worrying about snow or nothing.
Right.
And I'm like right in the middle of Jacksonville, Daytona, Orlando, and so it's perfect drive, like 1 hour each direction, just to do like 5 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
But and then I finally get to do like shows, like actual showcases, and so I got so much. I started off in Los Angeles in Studio City at the Jump Cut Cafe when it was around in the Valley.
I live in the Valley. I'm in Sherman Oaks right as we speak.
Oh heck yeah! I used to live in Sherman Oaks.
Whereabouts?
I lived off Greenbush Avenue, right between Burbank Boulevard. I was on Burbank Boulevard, between Coldwater Canyon and Woodman.
Oh, geez, right by me. I'm in between Hazeltine and Van Nuys on Chandler.
Oh, very cool. I used to go out there all the time, so it's pretty cool. Like Sherman Oaks is like awesome. Like
my rent's great. I've been here for years, but
nice.
I'm not going anywhere. My rent control keep me right here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, my rent was like $9.95 for a 1 bedroom, 1 bath for the
That's
time that I was
great
there.
now. If you could get that now, man, people would love that.
Oh, indeed, rent control is the best, I think.
Yes. My nephew lives in Orlando. My mom and my dad, before he had passed, live in Boynton Beach, and so do my two other brothers.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
man, it's pretty cool. We have like that Colorado, Florida, LA connection there. We
yeah,
got.
yeah, totally. And I'm from Philadelphia, so it's interesting.
I've always wanted to go visit there. It looks pretty neat.
Oh,
So
it's awesome. Great town, great food, great place, great town.
absolutely. And let's see here. One of your we mentioned that I saw you at the Marquis Theater, and another venue that loves
Great
you
pizza,
all.
great pizza at the Marquis Theater.
Oh yeah, the Marquis, most
Yeah.
definitely. I mispronounced that too, so that hidden S always throws me off.
Marquis. It looks like Marquis.
Herman's Hideaway is like another favorite venue that I always see you guys get tagged there. Like, how did you get involved with Herman's Hideaway?
Oh well, we've played a lot of venues in Denver. The Marquis Theater was our home for a long time. When I first joined Warner Drive, we used to play out in I want to say it was Aurora. It's a suburb of Denver. Then I want to say we played this place called the Lion's Den a few times. Then we played the Gothic Theater. We played the Gothic with Lola Black. We played there. The Marquis. And then Herman's Hideaway came about because we became friends with Chris. And Chris was the manager over there. So he ended up giving us the best deal anytime we'd come out there. You know, it got to the point the last few times we've been out there that we just do fly dates where we're not even on tour. We'll fly out and we'll play Denver on a Saturday. We'll fly in Saturday morning, fly out Sunday morning. And Herman's just always took really good care of us. And the person we were booking with at the Marquis, they weren't there any longer. Mm-hmm. And in all, I don't know if this will fuck me by saying this, but in all due respect, Herman's gave us a significant better deal. So, you know, I love Herman's. I really love the Marquis. Marquis, soft spot in my heart for the Marquis.
Indeed, that's the night I saw Lola Black there with you guys.
Oh yeah,
night. Yeah. So
whatever happened to them?
I think they're still around.
Still around?
Yeah, but I haven't seen their show lately because I live in like my other where I stay. I mostly like once a year is called Pueblo, which is like 2 hours south of Denver.
Yeah.
It's like all my family's there, and so I go there once a year for my journalism. When I started writing about you all, I took all that and I went home and started writing about the local bands instead of the big bands.
Yeah.
And then I left there for Florida, and I said I just wanted 3 bands and 3 comics to be on my bill because I'm a stand-up as well.
Yeah.
And I tagged one member of each band, and they said we all want to be a part of this. You made an impact in our lives, and so it turned into a big old festival. So I'm stuck with my own festival for 7 years now. So
hey man,
hopefully in due time I'll fly you guys out if I can afford you all, and that'd be awesome.
Yeah, dude, we'd hook you up. You're our buddy. We've known you. I've known you for 8 years now. I guess 7, 8 years now. You know, here's a funny random Denver situation. I'm obsessed with that. Did you hear about that murder case, Chris Watts? The guy. It happened in oh Jesus, Frederick, Colorado, which is right outside of Denver. And this dude killed his wife and 2 kids because he found a new girlfriend. But he ended up like confessing and going to prison and stuff. But for whatever reason, I found myself completely obsessed with the news footage of that. It was very crazy. That happened in Denver.
Wow. That's
random. Wild. I don't even know why I brought that up.
But Denver has some crazy stories for sure. And Pueblo gets like looked down upon because like we're the 13th most violent city in America and the worst city to live in Colorado.
How many people are even in Pueblo?
Probably like 100,000 maybe.
God, how many murders happen there a year?
I have no idea. But we get looked down upon. But like once you go to the city, you get to know the people. They're amazing. The food's fantastic. It's like the low cost of living. It's like, and everyone loves me. I'm like the only Cambodian person there pretty much.
I lost you, bud.
Oh, are you? Your screen's frozen too. But hopefully you're okay. But since we're having like a little bit of technical difficulties, I'll remind the audience that we're raising funds for the venues on Sunset Strip, and also the small businesses with Stories on Sunset. And I'm honored to have Jonny from both an Octane and Warner Drive as my guest tonight. And I think his Wi-Fi is causing the screen to freeze. But hopefully he comes back. But yeah, all of their social media information is on the bottom there. Scrolling, so definitely follow them if you can. Here we are.
There we go. I'm back.
Okay, fantastic. I was reminding the audience what we're doing, like raising funds for the venues and all that stuff, and all your social media is on the scroll.
Yeah, the Viper Room, especially, is was a second home to me for a very long time. One of my best friends was the bartender there, Johnny Chow. He's the bass player of Stone Sour. He was the bartender there. Tommy Black's a really great friend of mine. And all the people that work there, it breaks my heart to see that they're having so much trouble because none of them have worked since this has happened. So I think it's a great thing you're doing. The Rainbow, thank God, still been open to get takeout food, which has been great. And the whiskey, I have no qualm saying it. Fuck the whiskey. They treat bands terribly, so fuck them.
Wow, really. I had no
I've already
idea.
been banned from there once already for talking shit. I don't care. The day they stop making bands pay to play will be the day that I stand behind the whiskey.
Wow, I had no idea about the business side of things from the whiskey side, but I definitely enjoyed going there to cover shows, and that's why I have so much love for the Sunset Strip. I never knew all that stuff from behind the scenes, but my favorite place was like the Viper Room and Joe Holiday. He's the lead singer of Lady Sinatra.
Oh, I know Joe very well. Good friend.
Yeah, absolutely. He'd always notice like my Wu-Tang pants every time I'd cover a show there, and like even if I didn't have to cover a show, he'd say house guest, and I would walk in for free and get to catch a show. And one of the guys, I can't remember his name, but he complimented me on my A Perfect Circle shirt, and I'd always wear it. And I think he had some ties with a Perfect Circle, so that was a definitely good times. Nice. Speaking of shirts, like I noticed your Colorado shirt when you played the Roxy, and that's what
I lost that, dude. I don't know what, dude. I have this terrible habit of giving away shit on the road. Like I just somebody's like, oh, dude, I love your shirt, and I just got done playing. They're like, oh, can I have your shirt you played in? And for whatever reason, I just give people my shit all the time. So somebody gave that to me. I got that shirt because I swapped it with a friend or a fan. I think it was a friend from Denver. We swapped shirts, and then I ended up giving it away to somebody else. I guess I can't find it. I love that shirt, man. I don't know what happened to it.
Indeed. When I make it back to Colorado, I'll send you a Colorado shirt or something like that.
Thank you. Thanks. And I'll end up giving it back to you next time I see you. I'll be like, hey, take my shirt.
So, which of the Warner Drive albums did you start working on since from like your early days, and what were some of the stories from those? Well,
I joined Warner Drive on December 20th, 2008 was the day that I joined. Candace ended up joining the following summer. And KGO was the first album. So I was on KGO, City of Angels, and this last one. What was the last album?
Till the Wheels Fall Off.
Till the Wheels Fall Off. God. Man, I'm getting old on my fucking brain. Till the Wheels Fall Off, City of Angels, and KGO. The fully loaded album was the old lineup with Matt, Chris, and why can't I remember the bass? I'm Googling this shit, man.
There you go.
I can't remember the original bass player, and he was like my favorite member.
Indeed.
Warner Drive, fully loaded album.
Yeah, I remember like you'd cover Wagon Wheel too, and I loved the way you guys put the spin on that too.
Oh, dude, I love that song, and I always loved playing that song. You know, we used to do these things where we would just play cover gigs on the road to supplement money and Wagon Wheel just kind of stumbled in there. It was like Pete. That's who it is. Pete.
Awesome.
God, sorry, Pete.
Thank goodness for Googles. We're sorry, Pete.
Yeah, it's funny because I know Pete and Chris, the one guy, the guitar player. He's the old guitar player. I mean, I've met him, but I don't remember meeting him. But I remember his name, but can't remember Pete. And I remember when I joined Warner Drive, and Jonny told me he was rebuilding the whole band. I asked if Pete was going to be in the band because that guy was like the show. Like when I saw Warner Drive before I ever joined, Pete and Jonny were like the two people you watched the most. Matt is an unbelievable drummer. Matt is a better drummer than me, can play circles around me day in and day out. No question about it. Chris, great guitar player. Pete, amazing bass player. But Pete and Jonny were totally the guys you would watch. So I was bummed to find out Pete wasn't going to stay in the band. However, I was stoked to get to play in a band with Elvis because Elvis could be the nicest person you ever meet. He is the sweetest man alive.
I couldn't agree more. He's such a great guy.
He's amazing.
I miss seeing him. I saw him now and seeing his other works and stuff. So it's good to see he's still active and all that good stuff.
Yeah, man. He's out in Nashville now. He lives in Nashville.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
He moved out there almost a year ago, I think, or probably about a year ago almost.
Indeed. When did you join in on with Bullets and Octane? Like, which record did you hop in on, and what's the experience?
The Waking Up Dead album. I joined Bullets and Octane in April of 2016. Gene called me up. I knew Bullets. Well, I knew Gene. Like in the Knives, the guitar player was from St. Louis. And he was good friends with Gene and Brent, the singer and bass player of Bullets. And I remember we played a Chain Reaction on June 29th, 2004 with them. That was the Revelry CD release party. And then we toured the United Kingdom with them in 2007. That's when I really got to know Gene. I stayed in touch with Gene loosely through the years. And then in 2016, he had just gotten done recording the Waking Up Dead album, and he needed to get somebody in the band who knew how to do business. So he was like, who do I know who plays drums and who do I know who does business? He's like, well, let me call Jonny U. And he called me, and I was flattered because I was a huge fan of Bullets and Octane. So I joined for the Waking Up Dead album cycle, and now it's been 2 albums, and I've been in the band since for 4 years now.
Indeed. What are your fondest memories of Knives and all that good stuff? Some awesome stories.
The Knives. My first success I ever had in music was with the Knives. So that really that is a fond memory for me. You know, I mean, first time I got to travel the world was with the Knives. The first time I really got to tour was with the Knives. I mean, goodness, we toured with CKY, we toured with The Cult, we toured with Fu Manchu, we toured with Stone Sour, the Jägermeister tour. Man, we did some we did the Warped Tour 2 years in that band. Man, that was a really magical time for me. I got my first endorsement, Vic Firth. Before I was with Peisty, I was with Istanbul Cymbals. I got that while I was in the Knives. Nick Oliveri from Queens of the Stone Age joined the band. That was a big deal because the band was heavily influenced by Queens of the Stone Age. So to have somebody who single-handedly influenced the band join the band was really magical. And that was crazy because I remember when I first moved to LA, I was watching MTV and Queens of the Stone Age, that song No One Knows, bam, 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 you know that song with all the drum fills and shit? That was really big. And I remember seeing the commercial or the video and being like, man, that bass player is the scariest guy in rock and roll. He just looked scary with that bald head and the goatee. I was like, man, that dude scares the shit out of me. Fast forward 7 years, and I'm in rehearsal with that guy, and I'm looking at him going, wow, the scariest guy in rock's in my band now. How crazy is that? That was a memory. That was a cool memory. But, the way that band ended wasn't good. So some bad things went down at the end, and it left a bad taste in my mouth. But I'm good friends with them today. Bygones have been bygones, and I've gone on to have a lot of success, and I have no hard feelings anymore because I went on and kept living the dream, and that band fell by the wayside. And you can't get rid of the guy who does everything in the band.
Indeed, most definitely.
Not to get all angry and shit.
Indeed. Sorry for pulling the skeletons out.
No, man, I don't mind. I just feel bad. I don't know who's watching this, so I just feel like I'm talking to you at a bar and not realizing other people could be watching this shit. So maybe I should watch what I say.
Man, I love the Rainbow too, and going back to the Rainbow, it's like I'm glad they're open and they're serving food. And what are your favorite memories of the Rainbow?
Oh man, wow, they're endless, dude. Like. Something really neat happened. At one point, I realized that I'd started to do well in the music because I'd walk up to the Rainbow and they didn't charge me a cover anymore. And they like knew me and stuff. And that was always something magical for me because growing up, the Rainbow Bar and Grill, just like you and anybody else who's watching this, if you're not from LA, you come to LA and if you're a rock and roll fan, that's like a big deal, the Rainbow. So just being able to go there and feel like a regular and being treated like a regular, that in itself, the endless nights that I don't go there very often anymore because I used to be reckless in my younger years. Man, to think how many times I drove drunk home from the Rainbows, it's crazy. And thank God that I didn't hurt anybody else or hurt myself. But man, those were some wild times, dude. Nowadays, I don't go. I guess I just outgrew it. I guess I tour so frequently now that when I'm at home, I kind of just hang at home with my girlfriend, and I don't find the need to go out to the rock clubs or the Rainbow or anything much anymore because of the touring. That you're always partying. That when I come home, man, I just love to sit at the house and smoke a little weed and have a drink or two. Right now, I'm on a sober kick where I'm still smoking the weed, but I haven't drank in quite a bit of time. I'm going to stick with that. I'm not a sober guy by any means. And trust me, I look forward to having a drink again. But right now, I found that in this quarantine time, I found myself drinking really, really heavily. So at one point, my girlfriend and I said, you know what? Let's lay off the booze for a bit. And now my mornings consist of getting up early, getting to the rehearsal room by 8:30 a.m., practicing for 2 to 3 hours, and coming home and watching movies and eating for the rest of the day and doing business. I've been, we had a new Bullets and Octane record come out during this time. And it came out and started doing really well, which, I guess is good. But who knows when we're going to tour again? Touring is we're planning 2021. 2020 is a wash. And not much you can do. But to answer your question, my favorite memories at the Rainbow. I don't know. I guess my favorite fond times of the Rainbow would be in the early days of the Knives. We used to go to the Rainbow after rehearsal every night. So I was there 5 nights a week, and I love their pizza, no cheese, of course. I don't eat cheese. And I love their pasta and I love their minestrone soup. I guess my favorite times would be from 04 to 08. The Knives, we hung there quite frequently. So those were my favorite times there.
Absolutely. Yeah, when I lived out there, I'd always celebrate my Thanksgiving there because I couldn't fly back home.
Wow.
And they had the best food for
Was it a good Thanksgiving there?
Yeah, all the time, every year it was like a tradition for me. So
Man, I've been on the road for Thanksgiving a lot as of late. I haven't been home for Thanksgiving. Well, I guess 3 years ago I was home for Thanksgiving. And before that, it was probably about 3 years before that. I'm on the road, it seems like, for Thanksgiving every year. It's very strange.
wow.
Last
Hopefully
year I was in Germany. We had Thanksgiving at a burger restaurant.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Hopefully it picks back up again because the world needs live music and
Yeah.
the live streams are cool, you know, like, but man, like it's not the same like with stand up, with music, with journalism. It's just I miss that interaction, like where we can read each other's energies and body languages and stuff, and be more
Yeah,
in
man.
person.
Feeding off the crowd. Like they're talking about having the NFL season this year without fans. You know, like that'd be like doing concerts without fans. Like that's kind of crazy. You know what I mean? I guess that's what live streams are. We haven't done any live streams. We've all been very cautious and staying away from one another. I haven't seen a member of Warner Drive. I talk to Ryan quite frequently because Ryan and we're starting a podcast called Stories, Stouries. So that's going to start in the next few weeks, I think. But besides that, you know, I've texted with Jonny and Candace, and I talked to Sonny a bit because we share a rehearsal room, so we're always talking for rehearsal reasons. And Bullets and Octane, I've talked to those guys. I've seen Felipe because I'll go to the recording studio and he's there, and then Zach's recording on his own studio, so we'll record everything and send it to Zach. And one day, Zach, Felipe, and I had a social distancing barbecue at Zach's house where we were 6 feet away from one another the whole time. Zach's got a compromised lung, so he's been very making sure to stay safe, you know, and not leaving the house. I don't think Zach's left the house in God. Maybe he's left. I think he left to do a social distance photo shoot. But besides that, I don't think Zach's left his house. He gets all his food delivered and everything. So,
Wow.
You know, we've all been staying away. So I haven't seen anybody except for Felipe and Zach in person. But Felipe the most, I would say.
Indeed. And I'm proud of all you all, and like you know, seeing Jonny with the Beat Buds and
He's doing great, man. He's killing it, man. He's got a TV show coming out soon. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, and all his good stuff, and I remember like hanging out with like Sonny because I, you know, Super Black Market was like one of the first bands I met through Dead End Amelia, and I got invited to his place in North Hollywood, and I believe Nick was his roommate at the time. Nick Speck.
Is that the guy who plays an orgy?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And so I remember walking into the front door, and right there was his Sonny's bedroom. And it was like, wow, this is pretty wild, you know. And
Yeah.
like those houses are all like wild like that. But man, Sonny is pretty awesome, and his brothers Joe and all those.
I love those guys, man. Sonny, again, maybe it's a bass player thing, but Sonny is another super, 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 super sweet man. I love that guy. Like straight up love that dude. He's been a great friend. And when he joined Warner Drive, man, what a great, I mean, it was sad to see Elvis go, but if there was anybody to replace him with, Sonny was a great, great, great replacement.
Absolutely. And I love his Chewbacca stuff and all that stuff. Yeah,
he's great, man. He's super talented.
Indeed, absolutely. I love the guy too. So I'm hoping to get you know, Sonny on a future episode of Stories on Sunset, because we got to relive that moment of like my very first article was Super Black Market at the Viper Room.
Super Black has that one song, "I Won't Forget You." Is that the name of it? I love that tune. That's a great song. That band should have. I wish they would have had a little bit more luck, because that band was a great fucking band.
Absolutely. Their whole record for "I Won't Forget You" that was on it was just amazing, and their music video for that too, with like the horror elements, with
the whole vampire thing.
Yeah,
awesome.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
And Jonny, is there any final shout outs you'd like to give? And thank you so much for all your time that you've given.
Man, thanks for having me. It's great to see your face. It's been a while, man. It's been a while. hey, I hope everybody's safe out there, and not to sound like a billboard or nothing. I just hope everybody wears a mask and does their part. I know that not to make this political, but I'm going to. I can't help it. It's a shame that people look at the mask and COVID-19 as political. It's not political. This is science. And I really hope that everybody does their part. And, everybody must go vote in November. We need everybody to vote in November, no matter who you vote for. I'm sure you can tell by the way I'm talking who I won't be voting for. But no matter who you vote for, go out and vote in November. And everybody wear a mask and social distance, because it isn't about us. It isn't about you. It isn't about me. We should be okay if, God forbid, we were to get it. But, think about our moms. Think about our dads. Think about our grandparents. Think about our brothers, our sisters, our nephews, our nieces, our aunts, our uncles. Just do the right thing and wear a goddamn mask, because this isn't about politics. This is about safety for all and looking out for your neighbor. And let's all be one. And this division that the country's in right now, we're in a severe divide right now, and I've never seen anything like it. And I just want everybody to get along, because we all want the same thing, man. We all just want a great country to live in. So everybody do their part. Everybody be safe and be safe to your neighbor. And if your neighbor needs help, help your neighbor. If your mom needs help, whoever needs help, help them. This is a tough time that we're all going through. So let's stick together. I guess that would be my final words for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jonny. It means the world to me that we get to reconnect again, even if
man. I hope to see you soon.
I hope to see you soon.
If I play in Denver, you better be there, even though you're in Florida.
Indeed. I'm going to move back permanently. So.
If I go visit my mom or anything in Florida, man, I'll hit you up, because I think it's only a couple of hours away from where you're at. So maybe we can meet up and have a drink or something.
Indeed. If it's before September, we won't get to see each other, but I'll definitely would love to see you in Denver, because I'll be there in September on, hopefully forever.
Yeah,
so
I hope to be playing Denver sometime soon.
Indeed. If not, we'll bring you to my fest. I'll save money and bring you guys over. So.
Hey, man, we'll do it. We'll do it. You just get us there, and don't worry about anything else. Just get us there.
Absolutely. You got it, Jonny. And we're raising funds, as a friendly reminder, for everyone on the Sunset Strip, even the whiskey, Jonny.
Hey, listen, I might have talked a little shit about whiskey. I actually have a good friend who's a security guard there, and I know some other security guards there. Hey, those people need to eat too. I just hope they stop making bands pay to play. God damn it.
Yeah, pay to play is horrible. Stop that.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
Indeed. So go all.
I missed the Cat Club. Were you in LA when the Cat Club was there?
I don't think so.
Man, the Cat Club was it was right next to the whiskey, and that was like the starting ground for all those bands in like the early 2000s, late 90s, and it was like a pecking order. You went the Cat Club to the Viper, to the Roxy, to the whiskey, to the Key Club. It was a great time back then. Those were good times.
Man, indeed. Before we go, I totally remember covering the Sunset Strip Music Festival.
Yeah, we played it 2010 and 2011, if I'm correct.
Indeed. I was wondering how they got Jonny's photo as part of their video montage there. So now I know that it was.
What video montage are you referring to?
It was the year that they honored the Doors. That year I covered that year.
2012. We played that one too. I think we played 10, 11, and 12.
Oh, indeed. And the RZA was on the bill at the Key Club.
Dude, when we played there in 12, the craziest thing, we played the Roxy, and Imagine Dragons were our opening act. Wow. 3 months later, they were. This was 2011. 3 months later, they were the biggest band on the planet.
Dang, that's wild.
That's crazy.
It's crazy how things just unfold like that. It's
nuts.
You don't know where you're going to be the next couple of days or months or year. Yeah. It's just. I didn't expect to have my own festival, after I moved back home to Colorado. It's
where do you hold it at?
In Pueblo.
Oh, in Pueblo.
Yep. We just for 5 days this year. It's we're celebrating 7 years, and every genre of music just is going to be there, and comedians, and the comedians have their own days, and all the local bands have their own days. And
if you need any comedians, man, I have some good friends out here who would love to do it. I'm sure.
That'd be awesome. I'll try and help
out. I've done 3 stand-up comedy shows myself.
Really? I had no idea. Like, do you have any videos of it?
Oh, I do, but I wouldn't show you. I'm like a storyteller kind of guy. I just did it because uh, I used to have this friend who had these shows. He's like, you should come do it sometime, and I ended up liking it, and it ended up working. So I don't know. Maybe someday I'll do it again.
Dude, I would totally pay to see you on stage, like at the Laugh
Maybe,
Factory.
maybe I'll come do your thing.
That'd be awesome. I'll send you, like, I'm a storyteller myself on stage, and so like my sets from when I was like when I was a kid to like now, and so I'll send you, like, I did a 6 minute set at it in
Send
Atlanta.
it to me, dude. Send it to me.
I will. It's really dirty.
Is this our private chat right here? Let me send you my email.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Or yeah, we had a private chat on here, so
yeah. Let me. Here we go. Boom. I just sent my email. Send it to me.
Sweet. I'll send
you. If you ever need to get a hold of me, man, get a hold of me here. I get on Messenger. I just happened to get on it that day you wrote the band, and I thought I would respond. So, and then after you and I set it up, I got on more often to check it out. Email, if you need to get a hold of me, just email me there, dude, and stay in touch, brother. It's been great to see you again, and thanks for having me on. And I hope people had enjoyed watching this.
Indeed. Likewise, Johnny, you took the words right out of my mouth. And I'll email you my press kit, because like all my best sets are on my press kit.
Awesome.
So I'll send you those. My roast is on
maybe
there.
I'll find that video I have on my phone and send it to you.
That'd be awesome. I'd love to see you on stage.
Fuck yeah, brother. Great to see you, man.
Right back at you, brother. Great to see you too. Take care, and I'll see you in Denver.
Awesome, man. Thanks.
Ditto. Take care, bud.
See you, brother.
So yeah, this has been my awesome interview with Jonny you from Wanna Drive and Bullets and Octane, and I couldn't have thanked him enough from the bottom of my heart. And I can't wait to share my stand-up videos, and hopefully he finds his so I can see his. But this is my SOS to the world. This is my message in a bottle. This is me trying to raise funds for the awesome venues on the Sunset Strip, and the music venues, and the small businesses. And so all their GoFundMes and how you can donate to them are on the description box below, as well as the Corazon Cinnamon Cafe, because that's where I host my storytelling room called Confessions of the Corazon, a night of storytelling, which is like off for a couple months because of COVID-19. So definitely view some movies through their website and keep them going and keep their doors open. But yeah, some of them have reached their goal and some of them haven't. So help them along the way. Even the whiskey. Oh man, Johnny's a good guy. And the Viper Rooms information, Comedy Store, the Laugh Factory. Click on their websites and they'll teach you how to do that. I also included the Warner Drives and Bullets and Octane's YouTube channels on the bottom of the description box below. And so that way you can subscribe to their channels. So subscribe to mine and also subscribe to yours. If you enjoyed this interview, please give it a like and mention the comment below. And I'm so glad that Jonny hooked me up with his email address so that way I can send him my stand-up videos as I promised him on the interview. But once again, thank you for joining me on and watching this later down the road there. And I'm looking forward to seeing you down the road. And once again, this is my SOS for the world. This is my message in the model. That's my ode to the police. Not the LAPD, but they're good fellas too. But I'm talking about the band. Awesome band. But thank you so much. And we will see you next week for my awesome experience with Tech 9 at the House of Blues on the Sunset Strip. It's no longer with us, but I had an awesome, great time during that tour. So yeah, that's about it. And thank you so much for joining in on Stories on Sunset. And we will catch you all next week.